let's do this first Oz report of the new year. This is where we have a look for about 10 minutes, have a look at the market to see what the current events mean for the market and what investment opportunities there are out there and what big swings we are seeing. So let's go, and let's start just like last week. I'd like to start with PI. On the PI side, we are seeing the items that are inputs for implants, for example, like the cryoprotectant solution, the gel matrix biopaste, synthetic synapses, Ukomi superconductors. All of these are rising. And that is, I'm guessing, because we are seeing people replenishing their high-grade implants specifically. So if we're looking at the 52 weeks of cryoprotectant solution, then you can see that why I was saying at around 100,000, this is for the past 3 or 4 months I've been saying, buy these, because typically we see swings back going to 130 and then swinging back down. This has been going on for about 6 months, so this is not a time to buy unless you can get around 100k. Right now it's a 107. But if you're looking at some of the other ones that also go into implants, like the gel matrix biopaste, here it's a little bit late as well, but on the Ukomi superconductors, you see that the upswing has barely started, and these are used in slightly different implants, so they're not all the same and they don't all move the same, but we are seeing kind of similar bottoms and highs on these, so you can definitely go out there and buy Ukomi superconductors right now. From my orders, you can see that I am out there doing the same, and looking at synthetic synapses. These are all very popular. You can see the added volume here on the JITA market in the last 3 to 4 days. These are also still trading quite cheaply at 64 buy, and so this is still, to me, absolute buy territory. You can see if you click in the little information button that these are used in a lot of the popular implant sets. So have a look at those. The other interesting PI that I'm seeing is if you look at the combination of robotics and guidance systems. So specifically, guidance systems has been going down a ton, right? So this is hitting 53,000 buy price. That is territories that it's basically never hit. And in combination with robotics, which has been going down since July, but it's now has had a slight turnaround. So this might be the first signs of an uptick back. If you look at the combination of the two, you can see that these go into a lot of the tier 2 drones. So the one of each makes up part of the blueprint of these, and the bigger part of the blueprint. So if you look at the drone section and you look at tier 2 drones like the Acolyte 2s or the Hobgoblins, you see that they are hitting also very, very low prices. So Acolyte 2s on the buy side around 300, Hobgoblin 2s on the buy side around 270. Both of these have at the current prices a manufacturing price of about 300,000. So these frequently are popular for several reasons. So investing right now into some of the tier 2 drones, have a look at the different ones. I just picked out the Acolytes and Hobgoblins because they are two of the more popular ones. But that in combination with the input being so cheap right now is a good time to invest in those. If you're looking at excavator mining drones, for example, some of you might know that this is the biggest position in our investment fund. Actually, they rose sharply, and they are rising sharply, and basically they've been rising since the end of November. So we are back to over 300 million prices. So if you've been stockpiling these, because I keep telling everyone to stockpile these for a rainy day or for the return of or the end of scarcity phase, then you know, it might be a good time to sell these. I was able to sell some of these at about 313 million. So that's to me, that's a good profit, especially when you have an average buy price like me around 250 or something. Of course, these are risky, and these are a little bit risky because their role is not entirely clear yet going forward. But if you know, if especially if you're a little bit nervous about your holdings and you were buying around 250, then why not take some of that profit and cash back in. So that's drones. Today is the last day of the winter event, so you know that's a big part of the recommendations that I have been doing in the last few weeks. So let's start with the boosters. The boosters, especially the Pyrolancia boosters, they had a big buyout after the large battle a couple of days ago. And so Pyrolancia, those 3 and 4, they actually shot back to pre-event levels. And so a lot of you that were trading along with me would have doubled your investment pretty much, buying in around, you know, on the those 4s, buying in around, you know, 30, 35, 37 million, and then ending up selling around 60 million. So I heard it even went to 70 million. So Pyrolancia was a good investment. It has since dropped down again a little bit. So it's coming into territory where it's trading below pre-event. So you can buy these again, but the interesting ones are still rather probably the hard shells and overclockers, because they didn't have the large buyouts, and they the dose 3 and dose 4 of the hard shell especially are trading way below pre-event, and that means buying them right now is very low risk, and I myself have stocked up on about 30 billion of them, because you know they're a good investment no matter how you look at it. They're always a good investment when they're trading low, but especially when you have a login event like this, where they're just or not a login event but a Christmas event, then you know there's a clear abundance of them, and their uses are also very clear in game. So no brainer on the agency boosters. Quave 0 very, very similarly, but it has also been rising lately. So before the login event and Christmas event, we were trading around 17.5. Now intermittently it dropped down to you know 11 million, and now we're talking buy price 13.5, sell at 15. If you can get this around the buy price of 13.5, though, I still don't see a reason why this is not a good investment. So Quave 0, still a totally fair buy at 13.5. The decryptors, they are also slowly rising. It's very interesting how you would expect on these decryptors, you would expect the price to keep dropping maybe until the event ends, but a few days before the event ends, you are already seeing prices rise again because investors start buying in. Some people might get tired of the event, you know, and supply dries up a little bit, and so there's various reasons for these prices to already be rising again. But similarly to the boosters, you can see here they hit a bottom, and they start rising again, but expect these to go back up to a 2.7 level, so you'll get your 20-30% profit, and maybe even more. You know, same with the augmentation and parity decryptors. They have dropped significantly, and they're now going to do the slow climb. Excuse me, the slow climb back up. Let's talk about Salvage. I mentioned the trigger units, so I just hope that you've been listening to the Oz report in the past weeks, or look at my stream, because there are very few items that I hype more than trigger units. They were just trading at around 600k for the longest time, and that's low for trigger units. And there are a lot of things that happen in game that makes people buy trigger units out in bulk, and this latest battle was one example of that. And now we are at a sell price around 900,000 again. Some people unloading too cheap here, but 900,000 is the word. So if you had bought in when I recommended it last week, then you would have made 50% profit. And this isn't an item where you can make 50% profit on 100 million. This is an item where you can make 50% on billions. So very nice that this happened. The Aeon Fund investors are very happy with me right now. There are other salvage items that increased due to current events, and that is intact armor plates. I mean, these, if these go into a lot of the and a lot of the capital modules, and these went from around 4 million to over 4.5 million. We're at 4.8 now. You can see here I am selling at 4.8 million on one of my sell orders, because yeah, to me this is a good price. We haven't been in this area since the spring pretty much, so that's good to see that destruction is causing a little bit of a market rally. Same with logic circuits. They were already high, they're going even higher. Power circuits completely exploded, and contaminated nanite compound also rose very sharply. And these are all items that have multi-billion ISK per day markets, and that's why I mentioned them on here. These are not small items. These are some of the most traded items in EVE, and if items that are traded at this volume rise by 20, 30, 40, 50%, then you know that people are cashing in. I mean, trigger units just yesterday in the last 24 hours made 2.5 billion for the Aeon Fund. So that is very cool to see. Moongoo. I said a few weeks ago that I was investing heavily into Moongoo because right now there's because of the lack of alternatives, there are a lot of people mining Moongoo, and we saw a few weeks ago or a week ago we saw a rally on some of them. If you look at Promethium, for example, we saw a quick rally that has gone back down on almost all of them. Tungsten similarly. So what you can do on, whether it be dysprosium, hafnium, promethium, tungsten, those are just some of the larger ones. You can you can take this as an opportunity to buy back in, and that is what I am doing. So I still think that Moongoo is trading way too cheaply right now, and so I am recommending you buy into Moongoo. Just pick the ones that you actually maybe know a little bit better, or have mined in the past, or understand the markets. But if you don't know what they do, you can always click on the little information button and see what they're required for, and then go down the line of items that are produced from it. Moongoo is mostly in tier 2 modules. Tier 2 ships heavily as well. That's the cheap Moongoo right now is also the reason that the tier 2 ships are so cheap. So look around for tier 2 ships. In Oz reports in the past weeks, we have talked about some of the tier 2 ships that are good to buy right now. All right, we'll finish with some of the implants. So as I said earlier, this is just bringing it back from the beginning. If we look at Nirvana implants, for example, we're seeing extremely sharp price rises here and volume increases over the last couple of days. If you look at the Omega alone, the Omega went from 1 billion to 1.5 billion. I think the sell price right now, if you want to buy them, okay, it has come back down to 1.2 billion, but there in the last few days there have been 1.5 billion paid for these. So you know, these implants are reacting to the big battle, is my assumption. And if you look at the items that go into here, you're looking at synthetic synapses, geometrics, biopaste, cryoprotection solutions, Ukomi superconductor. So all the items that we were talking about in the beginning of the stream or in the beginning of the Oz report, those are the PI items that are impacted by this. Morphyte is the last one, but Morphyte has been on a rally like crazy since September, so that was already expensive to start out with. Cool, and that concludes our Oz report for the day. Thanks for tuning in.